dangerous, they'll linger in the dark. Climb from below, temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms, what is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God, and abyss come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny and the metric and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. Yeah. I gladly give my life. All my people can my kingdom point the way. Death is small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher the highest height and the lower the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life ain't nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of God, and abyss come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden, I have been chosen. My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden, I have been chosen.
Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind. Wake up, sundown, creatures and gods around. Beware, prepare, it's dangerous, they'll linger in the dark. Climb from below, temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms, what is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God, and abyss come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul, dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. Yeah. I gladly give my life. All my people can my kingdom point the way. Death is small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher the highest height and the lower the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life ain't nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
What is going on, Governors? Chiskel here, and today I'm joined by Dragothian and Plato to cast the Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals, Round 1. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Love to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Cisco, for having us. It's going to be a very interesting and good match that we got today.
Yes, sir. It should be a lot of fun. And by the way, I may be losing my voice, so y'all are going to have to bring the hype and the yelling and the volume when the plays happen, because let me tell you, both 93 and GT have a history of running some pretty exciting plays when they battle against each other. Now, to get to this point, teams needed to be the very best in their realm, and then they needed to beat one of the other teams that was the best of their realm. So this is the grand finals. And by the way, everybody uses a standardized account for this gameplay. So you're not using your own individual accounts. You're using an equal level playing field. I feel like this is the most, we move in the direction of sort of being an esport for Rise of Kingdoms, where like, hey, everybody's got the same stuff. So to get to this point, you used your own account. But from here, may the more skillful team win. So, which team is more skillful, gentlemen? Who's going to win?
That's so loaded. Come on.
Not to put you on the spot.
So both teams are good. Obviously, 60GT has the hardware advantage, right? I think they've won 4 or 5 times now. And 93T, their first Realm of Horus victory, but well-deserved, and took out some of the heavyweights that have won in the past on the way to winning their first crown. So, I mean, this is going to be one of those things where in the here and now, either team could win. Obviously, from a betting standpoint, people are favoring 60GT, and rightfully so, right? Like I said, they've got the hardware advantage, but 93T ain't no scrubs, and they have been fighting nonstop for the past 2 months, in addition to winning themselves a nice little Osiris League championship. So they're well hardened and well honed, and they're ready to rock and roll, I'm sure.
What do you think, Plato? Who's going to get the dub?
Yeah. Both teams are, as Drago said, they're so good. 60GT being the household name that it is, if there's like a super team in Rise of Kingdoms, it's been 60GT with how they dominated Anubis. But 93T, both of these kingdoms, both of the teams that these kingdoms come from, top 4, top 3 kingdoms in the game, 93T or 1093 have always been super competitive in KVK, and they're known for their strategies. They're known for not really having all the whales in one spot, but rather just being able to coordinate and use a different strategy, use different ways to use open field, and maybe that'll translate in this match here, Chisco. As Drago said, 60 GT were super favored, but I don't think the matchup will be as lopsided as people think.
Yeah, that's spot on. And so it wouldn't be fair if I didn't give my take as well, right? So I put you guys on the spot now. I'll go on record as well for my thoughts, right? So Drago, I think you're spot on that 1960 has the history, but I want to point out that 93 got to this place without having hyper-powered accounts. They got here based off of their ability to execute with really great accounts, but like not the same level of insane punch. So I think that they are really elevated by this level playing field. And I also think that the player-based betting is favoring 1960 more than I would favor 1960. I mean, I think it's like 90% of people think 1960 is going to win based on that. And I actually would still probably favor 1960, but I would say it's more like a 60-40 split in my eyes. Sure. Although, I don't know, like this first match is really going to tell the tale. Has 93 been underestimated or not? And this opponent will really fully put them to the test. So I am very hyped for that. What do I think the final score bracket is going to be? I think, gentlemen, this is going to be like a 3,000 point game. What do you think? More than a 3,000 point game or less than a 3,000 point game? I'm going to go
5 because I feel like somebody's going to be winning and they're going to capture that last star to seal the deal. So I'm going to go 5.
Ooh, yeah. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 2.
Woo. Yeah, this is going to be a close game, I think.
Oh my.
Chat, drop into the chat how close you think this game is going to be, all right? How many thousands of points is there going to be between the winner and the loser? Now, remember, this is a 3-round tournament. Best 2 out of 3 wins. So if GT wins the first 2, boom, they're the winner. If 93 wins the first 2, boom, they're a winner. But if one wins, then the other wins, then we go to a 3-game series, which is pretty exciting. Now, I'm going to jump into the match real quick. And in just a moment, I will have that on screen. But gentlemen, what are your sort of final thoughts here on this matchup?
I'm just excited to watch and cast it. It's going to be a great match. It's 2 teams that are heavyweights, that are from heavyweight kingdoms, that have been doing this forever, it seems, and winning at the highest level. So this is going to be an exciting match to watch.
Awesome. I'm hyped as well. Plato?
Both teams are definitely in their comfort zones. 60 GT have been favored and kind of untested, except for that K244 match. While 93T has been doubted against 1V, has been doubted against JST, and now they're doubted against 60 GT. So we'll have to see which one prevails.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm just loading up the match. I'll be in just a second, and we'll be there. As a reminder, the stream is on a heavy delay to sort of maintain the competitive integrity of the match. I believe the players can now also spectate themselves in-game, which is a nice little feature. However, we now can jump into the match. So let's do it, gentlemen. Here we are.
Sounds great.
At the Temple of Osiris. We'll get a look around here. We do see that from last season, 1V's name is here. But that's all about to change. At the end of this series, the new Grand Champion will be crowned. What do you think we should look for in the first, pardon me, like 3 to 5 minutes of this match? What could happen that would be really significant?
I know for me, we've seen throughout this season a lot of heavy initial plays towards obelisks. And with these new alliance skills, there's just so many different variations that you can do now. Now, the question is, does either of these teams get a little risky? Because, again, 960 has done this so often and won it so much. Although, again, looking at the season breakdown of Osiris League Grand Finals champions, they don't have their name on here yet. So something to think about as we go along.
Here we go. They're out the gates. Simplify graphics comes off. We do see Jan Ziska coming out of the gates here. So some cavalry garrisons, Jadwiga. One thing we were talking about last week, Plato, when you and I were casting. By the way, we do see a couple hidden sentries go down. Let me just spectate that real quick.
So wow, both on the same side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top lane's important.
Where do you think everybody's headed here?
Well, they're all going to the desert altar, right? I mean, that's clearly obvious. But I will say, obelisk-wise, I'm really kind of keeping an eye on the obelisk lines. 960's again won their matches by really adhering to a very strict structure for their game plan, and it's always been that tried and true: capture desert altar, make sure that we own the open field, keep our structures, take structures the whole match, and win the mid fights. And I think that's why they maybe have lost against teams like 34 or something like that, or 1V, where that mid fight ended up deciding everything. So with this match, I'm looking to see if there's any variation from 960, because ultimately, if they just execute their game plan and it's the one that everybody's already seen, maybe 93T has a little something up their sleeves, which they've been known to do from an obelisk standpoint, from a structure game first standpoint versus mid-fight standpoint. That's what I'm looking for.
Gentlemen, I'd like to take this moment to highlight the large amount of marches featuring Trajan. Also, GT brought a lot of Saladin. So I think teams are taking advantage of the fact that there's no equipment here. So you can use all the commanders that you want of a specific troop type because you're not equipment gated. So GT is very obviously, I mean, you can just see it. They're all cavalry.
Yeah.
All cavalry all the time, except for this guy who didn't get the memo, and they've got an archer march. But pretty much everything is cavalry, with the exception of a few archers cruising in the back here.
See some Scipios too, but yeah, that's about it. The AoE health debuff is very nice to have.
Sure is,
Cav or otherwise.
I mean, Skippy Prime that's a life changer right there.
Yeah, you're right. Lots of cavalry all over the battlefield here. I'm seeing them already starting to touch marches here down at the bottom. Desert Altar rally going by from Seawill, Justinian rally coming in. Seeing some marches heading towards the bottom obelisk of 93T as well, or I'm sorry, of 60 GT as well. In fact, quite a few going towards the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane against 60 GT from 93T. So that we may start to see some push towards the Shrine of Life and then pushing towards the obelisk from that as well.
I definitely think the variance will come in this bottom lane because there's both teams are playing blind. They have full vision of what each team is doing in this top lane. So this bottom lane and how kind of predicting and studying your opponents is going to be a huge factor. I think 60GT is playing reactively here, bringing marches towards the Shrine of Life, Drago, as you said, and there's just a lot of 93T marches here.
First blood. Here we go. Desert Altar. 79 seconds until they actually open for contention, but the fight starts now. Jan Ziska, the obvious garrison captain, chilling in the back, trying to stay out of the fight and out of combat. As soon as he's thrown into combat, his profile is shown on the screen, as you see here, which means he's going to have players, well, I would have thought players would go target him, but Jan Ziska is being real sneaky at the moment. He's chilling.
Yeah, 93T looking like they're cleaning up this bottom Shrine of Life area pretty decently. Now, conversely, Desert Altar is heavily favored to 60 GT, but again, is there enough time to clear the Shrine of Life and jump in there for that first capture and hold it, obviously, for the points versus 60 GT coming from the Desert Altar, having basically won that fight already? This is going to be a tight, contentious fight down here at the bottom lane.
Yeah, GT is sending support. There's not a lot of it. Looks like Seawill's bringing in a few marches, as well as Nini. I don't know if that's going to be enough, however. And is it enough is the right question that you asked, Drago, because in a few seconds, this can be contested, and then for 3 minutes, if they hold it, they start getting the first capture points and ticking up. Here we go. They go in.
Yeah, they're going to jump in. Yep.
I don't know that they have a captain.
Ooh, all 4 altars are red right now, guys.
Whoa.
So,
which is surprising.
Pro tip, you do want to own some altars. Jeez.
Wow.
Shrine of Life.
They actually went to the Sky Altar there. So a little bit of a delay for 6GT and being able to get in first tap. They also have all of the outposts currently as well. But the Shrine of Life, as we've been highlighting here, maybe it's something to do with the buffs here, maybe 5% health, 5% march speed being super important early because there aren't that many teleport spots when you first start the game. So maybe it's just to slow down the rotation of 60GT towards this mid area. And yeah, we'll have to see if it'll pay dividends. Ooh. It's also kind of a point where maybe pushing the Shrine of Life is also like an offense towards the Shrine of Life could also be seen as a defense to the Sky Altar. Just having that open field control and that knowledge of the troops that are walking towards that Sky Altar. So
the 4 altars was really scary at first. It was like, man, this is a GT game all the way through. But now all the structures have sort of flipped back. So as long as 93 doesn't lose their first capture points, which they might be about to do at this outpost, they're fine. In fact, now they're up a structure, and they might actually cap this Shrine of Life for the first capture points. Now, I mean, look, it's only 400 points, but that's not bad.
I already see lines coming in from the bottom lane to the middle from 93T at the top as well. So
wow, so they're really committing.
The main point that I wanted to get there is they're already in rhythm to go to the middle, which is very strong, especially when you're contending the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane, and then also already rotating half your team to the mid.
Yeah,
I mean the rhythm's there. It's all about the rhythm.
Yeah, ebb and flow of the battle is something that 93 has historically really used in their favor. I mean, look, I'm going to call it now. Okay. 93 is going to intentionally lose the first arc.
Oh, man.
And then try to get it on the backswing. I'm just saying. And they do it every game. And like teams are still surprised that's what they're going to do, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, 93T definitely did that last game. Doing that against 60GT, 60GT has such a good system for defending these arcs that we've seen in the past, where they send all the marches towards the opponent's side, giving them vision to defend their arc. So I think it won't be as easy.
Guys. 10 seconds. If they can hold it for 8 more seconds, they'll get the points. It's literally going to be down to the second.
4, 3, 2, 1.
They got it.
They got it.
Oh,
and then it dropped.
Wow.
Wait, did they get it?
1 second.
Wait, did they get
Their
it?
score didn't go up.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Boom. They got the first capture point. I mean, look, it comes down to seconds when you're in the grand finals. It really does.
They should.
For those who questioned just how intense this competition is, your actions down to the second are a difference maker. Wow. GG. That's impressive. Now we see everybody's getting ready for the arc. 3:37 until the arc spawns in. 93 looking well positioned here, and sentry goes down. They put their sentry right on top of their ball. So Drago or Plato, walk through for me why you would put the sentry on top of where your ball is.
The defensive sentry, so that you can spot out the opponent's sentry. Although it does look like the 960 sentry is farther in the back here, making them see all the marches coming from their base. So if they wanted to do a little bit more of a defensive sentry, maybe putting it a bit farther back. But yeah, the biggest thing is just having a sentry so that you can spot the opponent's sentries. Is what I think of with this placement.
Yeah, I mean, when I toggle through the vision, it does look like a pretty meaningful amount of vision is granted by that sentry. So by placing it there, it looks like they're getting full view of the canyon where the arc spawns. So I think that this is just to make sure they're not getting snuck up on around the sides, which they're also doing with marches, interesting enough. Using, look at this. Double C. Just, getting a peek. Yeah, just a peek.
All the commanders in the game, and you still see that double C peeking.
Yo, let's go. The shout out to Double C. Baby. There it is. That's right. 5 years later, folks. And Double C is still used.
The first commanders
also, Ethel Trajan all over this map. Just saying.
Yep.
Just saying.
Buffs are a thing.
Yeah, it turns out that they are a thing. Now, it could be that a part of what they were used for was that cav rush at the start because they don't care about the troop type. I see 93 maybe using less of Trajan now. And I don't know. We'll just have to see if GT is also taking kind of a similar stance. But I do see some Ethels in here. Yep, there's some Trajans in there. I mean, it could be that they're taking the stance of maybe they want like 5 to 10 of them. I mean, when you play at this level, you're really thinking about numbers like that. Like, how many do we want in the murder ball? As opposed to like, everybody bring this. You think, okay, we need, 10 Trajans and this many Skippies and this many Williams, right?
Got skills going off. Dust up.
Go. The throwdown.
Yep.
Total vision for 93. Total vision for GT. And there it is. The chaos begins. I'm torn between being zoomed in, because, chaos, and being zoomed out, so we can see the sad face math. Because this is how we know which team is kind of winning or losing. The more you zoom out, the more you can see the sad faces going from side to side. Does look like there's more 93 cents. Well, I don't know. It's pretty even, actually. What do you think, guys?
I think it's pretty even. Maybe a little slight favor to 60 GT at the moment.
Ooh, That was a huge barrage of sad faces.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
The AoEs are coming through.
Boom.
First pull is going to be super important here. Let's see which team was able to.
I mean, it's going to be 93
first.
Yeah, they got it.
It always is 93.
It always is 93.
We don't need to win the mid fight. We just need to win the arc.
Yeah.
This is okay. So 93 is executing the plan exactly like I thought. Now, the real tell is how do they actually get this arc, and what is GT going to do? I swear I'm going to scream if I see these guys just break off in different directions as if it's any old walk through the park. What are they doing? They're all staying with the arc.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, mostly.
A few are going backward to the altar, which is reasonable. But everybody's with the arc. This is how you escort an arc, folks. I don't know why people think against 93 it's okay to take risks. It's not okay. Now, some are splitting off. So let's see if this arc carrier gets left behind. Because if they do, that would really surprise me. And they're going somewhere I didn't expect. They're going to the outpost. Are they going to do that?
Which, isn't owned by them right now, too. So that's the thing.
How do you feel about that, Drago?
Maybe they're going to be dropping it at the caravan there? Because they kind of need to take that building to drop things in it. And there's a player coming from 93T on the right to reinforce that building, too. So okay. I don't know if that's the right play.
I don't know, man.
What they're doing right now.
Everybody wants to take risks against 93. I don't know why. I mean, call me crazy, but isn't the safest route to kind of avoid the outposts?
Yeah, a little bit. I do see 60 GT really starting to do the buffers, though, which is nice from those players that have kind of peeled off from that mid fight, which is going to help slow down the people coming from both top and bottom side from 93T. You can see all the blue lines coming towards the bottom of that lane, that middle lane.
Yeah.
But 60 GT doing a great job of kind of filtering them so that even if they do make it through, they're at least half dead already.
Yeah. I mean, this is what GT needs to do, right?
And
so instead of going forward in a way that like 93 can just circumvent them, going backwards was totally the play. That makes a lot of sense. I also really like the 1960 seems to have sort of changed course here, and they're going instead to one side, which is toward their obelisk here.
Yeah, maybe picking. So going straight back really doesn't tell 93T which way to really go or focus. So they have to send everything on both sides towards the bottom of this mid lane, and then once 60 GT sees which side has less, things coming their direction, they pick that side. So they can either go to the top or the bottom obelisk.
Okay, so they move in a way that forces 93 to come along this canyon in a predictable way.
It also slows the structure game behind it, too, because 93T can't just focus structures on one side and then focus arc on the other. They have to commit, players to both sides going towards the arc. It's not a bad idea.
There goes the arc. I think this arc is safe and sound.
Safe. Yep.
I mean, this just looks nothing like any of the other matches where 93 has been able to take the arc. And I think that just shows how simple it can be to protect your arc when you've got a good plan for it.
Yep. Looks good to me.
It is.
If I was at 60 GT, it'd be looking very good. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going over here. Depends on what they think as far as how this game is going to play out. Do they think it's going to be, a very contentious mid fight? They won that middle fight pretty, I don't want to say easily, but it was convincing at least. And, maybe 93T didn't really commit as much to the middle as they can, I think is the other thing. I saw rallies going off during that mid fight from 93T hitting all the bottom line structures there. So maybe next one's going to be a little bit more close from 93T from a length of battle standpoint. But, 60 GT did that exactly the way it needed to be done, like y'all said. They're sitting there right now with an arc right beside their obelisk, right beside the city, and they're already moving out to start contending structures again.
They're even doing some provisioning.
They captured it right away.
Which I am really surprised to see. The reason I'm surprised to see provisioning is that the equipment makes the gathering speed just so much faster.
Yeah.
That without it, it's kind of like, is it worth it? given that you could use literally any commander in the game, might you want to instead use, something else that's meta in the field? So to see them provisioning a little bit, I suppose, a march here or there could make sense.
Yeah, maybe it's because that node's just outside of the city, super easy to get. But yeah, it's 60 GT. The thing that they did really well with that arc was they spread their marches. And you could tell that both teams definitely studied each other's games. A lot of games to watch between the two, because 60 GT saw that 93T, they like losing these arcs in the beginning and then stealing it from under the opponent's noses. They fanned out. They brought marches to the walk points, because one of the things is sometimes the marches are just sitting by the structures, and then it allows the arc to be taken. So 60 GT had full knowledge and full eyes on everything that was going on. They're able to just hold on to that arc and actually put 93T kind of in this weird situation where
these altars are flipping. Guys. Yeah, these altars are flipping. All 4 are blue currently right now, and heavy presence from 93T around all of these 60 GT altars, or at least they should be 60 GT. They are now currently obviously blue, at least for the moment. The Sky altar is looking a little dubious, but the Desert altar is freshly taken. Yeah. And Sky altar on the top lane is looking like it could still be held for at least a little bit longer. As soon as I say that, of course.
That's how
but there's players around it. Come on, reinforce.
They actually
it did start ticking towards.
They're waiting to hear you say that before they're like, all right, let's give up this garrison.
Do it.
They did hold it for a while, though. It started ticking towards the 93T, the Sky altar. So they were holding the Sky altar during that whole arc.
Yeah, 590 to 180 points per minute. I mean, if you're going to offset an arc, this is the way to do it.
Got it.
This is exactly the way to do it. Wow.
Now the Shrine of Wars. Yep, there it goes. So say Shrine of War was.
It's looking very blue. Wow.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you want to see if you're a 93T fan.
Has 1960 ever been in this structure position before? Actually, I don't know if they've ever been in this position where all they own is their obelisks and one altar. I mean, this has got to be really uncomfortable for them.
Yeah, they lost both shrines too. I know the war went down, but I didn't notice the Shrine of Life went down too. That's impressive from 93T on the structure game.
Yeah, this is very hard to accomplish what they've done here. Yep. Especially against GT.
And that Heraclius is looking legendary at the Desert Altar on the bottom lane. Oh.
Hera's looking real promising.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing about these matches is there's no gear, but everyone has all the commanders. So everyone should have access to that Heraclius, that all these garrison commanders that you wouldn't have normally. Making these structures that you take, you have way more garrison leads available because everyone's a garrison lead.
Yeah, harder to swarm down too if you think about it.
If you rally without a garrison captain in the rally, you've done it wrong at that point, right? Normally that's your tactic, is you rally and have the captain protected within the rally so that when you take the building, you then swap to the captain whose march has been safe the entire time. But
arc captured. Guys.
Yep.
There it is.
I think they're realizing they may need to get a third arc, right? Yeah.
They capped it because they saw this and they're like, all right, just cap the damn thing.
Yeah,
we can't take risks against 93, and I think that's smart as a mindset. But also, bro, they still don't have their buildings back.
Yeah, it's looking good for 93T from a
250.
Yep. Looking very good.
God.
If you look at the pressure of the map, there's all of the fights are happening in 60 GT's side.
60 GTs, yep.
So 93T's been putting up this relentless pressure, even though 960 should have the reinforcement advantage. Their marches are just zooming.
Yeah, I mean that's where the cav comes into play. Like what Chisco was saying earlier, everything I'm seeing on my map right now, Shrine of Light or Sky Altar goes down again. By the way, top lane.
Oh my god,
disrupting
they own
points.
Everything.
Yeah, disrupting points is the best.
900 points per minute to 100 points per minute.
Oh my god,
that's 2 obelisks and 3 outposts.
That's insane. I don't know if the GT has ever had this happen to them.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything like this before either.
Wow. Where is GT if they aren't getting any of these buildings? You know, my best guess here.
They're going to start ticking back red here in a minute.
I think we're about to see a tidal wave of red. Yeah. Right? Like
everybody's refreshed. Everybody's coming.
Yeah. This is the sort of ebb and flow of the match. Is you have weak marches from the mid fight, and then the opposing team swings in with full marches, and you kind of go back and forth with the trading of structures. And 93 was really able to capitalize there. Even though GT scored the arc, 93 is only 200 points behind, and they're closing the gap every second.
It's actually a great refresh timer for 93T, though.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, 6 minutes until arc spawns.
Yep.
They could start rotating mid. They have the onus to just have this pressure. Just the timing is just really, really good from 93T here.
You know what's interesting? I just saw an Alexander the Great. Liu Chet, Alexander the Great combo by 93.
Interesting.
Speedy march.
Yeah.
You know, they're going for speed and debuffs. I agree. 30% march speed. And you got to remember that Alexander the Great makes 4 targets take 30% more damage for like, I don't know, 5 seconds. It's a pretty good debuff.
Got shielding. Makes
you got a museum buff now.
Museum buff too, yeah.
I wonder, do they have museum buffs in here? I think they do. I would assume they do.
I'm not sure.
I don't actually know. I want to say that they do.
Yeah,
I don't actually know. But
because it's a commander buff.
Yeah, I would assume that they've got Ethel.
Got a full T5 Treb March coming down to pipe.
Ooh, okay,
down by the outposts on the 60 GT side.
So this was the swing back from GT, right? But is it enough? I mean, they're behind still.
The thing that's tough for 60 GT is they were able to push them off the structures, but I see a lot of their marches starting to walk back to their cities to refresh for this mid fight. So 93T was able to sad face on 60 GT structures, trying to hold it, get home faster. When 60 GT, those same marches that were attacking them, some of them have to start walking home now so that they can make it for this mid timer.
Big push from GT here. Dude, we got Rally Fillers doing some of this swarming, I think. Frederick the First, big poggers. Okay. Yo, when we said you could use any commander, I wasn't expecting to see Freddy Caesar swarming buildings, but here we are. I mean, the thing that's nice about Caesar is that he's got a lot of march speed these days. Oh, by the way.
Skyalter.
Yeah, exactly. If you thought 93 was giving up on the structures for Arc, no. They're like, hey, wait a minute, guys. We took all their buildings. Should we keep doing that? That worked out pretty good, didn't it? Let's keep doing that.
Do this over and over.
Yeah, I mean, so this is terrifying for GT because a new route to victory is kind of opened up for 93 in a way that they may not have anticipated. I didn't anticipate this. I mean, did you guys see this building game coming to fruition? I had no idea.
I mean, I knew they were going to do something like that, but I didn't know that they were going to execute it so well. Or at least 60 GT would get hit that bad by it to where they lost a lot of those structures for, I mean, that Shrine of Life on the bottom lane was blue for 6-7 minutes. So, I mean, that's a lot of points going their way.
They're down 1,100 points.
Yep. It's still down on the points per minute game. So, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see if you're 93T.
Yeah.
I mean, better would have been if they grabbed the arc too.
Yeah, they're just opening the lead. And so what an interesting route to victory for them potentially. Where, I mean, this is kind of crazy if we think about it, but if they win the arc, okay, they're just going to win. If they lose the arc, well, they're going to try to take it from you. And if they don't take it from you, they're just going to get all your buildings. That's not good. Like, you need an answer for that. So I think this time around, GT has to protect their arc less.
They're peeling back a little bit.
And protect their buildings more? Is that what they have to do?
They need to find a happy medium, but the problem is I don't think 93T, again, their mid-fight, while they did lose the last mid-fight, it's not like it's, you know, a scrub mid-fight game from 93T. It's still pretty formidable. It's just this last fight, 60GT just obviously got the better of it. But I mean, they're going to have to maybe get a little bit better ratio on commitment to middle versus commitment to structures while the mid-fight's going on. I mean, right now they're starting to peel some folks away from the structures on the bottom lane to come into the mid-fight here, is 60GT. It's a tough game to float when you're talking about making sure that you get those chunk points from the arc, but not losing 4,000, 5,000 points during the process at your structures.
Yeah. I love the balance of these things. Oh, wow. Shrine of Life flips blue right before the mid fight. The March speed and the health. Wow.
Yep. It's kind of a thing.
93, by the way, like a school of fish. They started kind of top and right of Temple. Now they're on the left-hand side. What are these guys doing? I mean, if we look at the visual range, there is vision of the fact that they are there. So everybody can see what's happening, I think. I don't know. What is 93 up to?
I don't know.
They're always up to something, man. They're always up to something.
Always scheming and plotting.
Yeah, the second you think you know their schemes, you lose. Okay, well, folks, 93's got a solid lead going into this arc. It's 1,000. Wow. Okay. Points just changed again. Almost 2,000 points of lead.
Yeah.
And the points per minute favor them still. So even as this fight goes on, they're still favored by 100 points per minute. I mean, time is on 93's side. There's Dust Up.
Traditional skills still being used. Curious if anybody decides to pop out, you know, to the death, or even a Heaven's Grace would be something that's usable here.
Total vision for both sides.
So that's Heaven's Grace then. Yep. There it is.
Drago with the call. GT mirrors. And the funny thing is that even if 93 loses, they're like, yo, it was all part of the plan anyways.
We meant to lose. This is exactly how we wanted it to go.
Win, they can always say, oh, you know, we meant to lose that one. Right? Like, you never know.
Shrine of Life's down.
Oh, my goodness.
Every single time. And it looks like Shrine of War is going to be suspect too. Yeah.
The mid fight is also looking in their favor too. That's the worst part for 60GT.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the worst outcome for GT, hands down. Because if 93 wins the arc, I mean, GT is going to have to come up with the patented play to take the arc from them. But remember, 93 patented that play. So if anybody knows how to defend it, it's 93. And there's 93
Look at the sad faces. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 93T. One thing that I see 93T do more than every other team is the way that they took the Sky Altar. They hide troops in the Fog of War way in the back, way to the right of the Sky Altar, so that they cannot be seen. Just 5 marches there. The rally comes in and they swarm the Sky Altar with the rally. There's only 3 open field marches to support that Sky Altar, which is how they've been taking these outer lane structures, in particular, the Shrine of Life and the Sky Altar.
So
just using the Fog of War.
How is 93 everywhere? Dude, they won the arc. They have all 4 altars. Okay, GT going for the Sky Altar. But 93 even has vision of this. They're literally everywhere. Wow.
I mean, they see it for sure.
They definitely see it. They know. Oh my God. 93. Now, this arc carrier is super unprotected. So 93 has, I'm just gonna say it. They have abandoned their arc carrier. The arc carrier is completely alone. I mean, look, this is completely alone in my eyes, okay? They got 3 marches near it. That is nothing. That is literally nothing. So if GT can get there, they can get it. But here's the thing. Everybody just used like 8 ability points at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So nobody's got ability points to do a master strategist play here, right? Probably not.
Right.
So it'd be very hard to get the marches down here. And the GT attack vector has to be through the Sky Altar and then straight up, but there's not enough time because they're stopping at the Sky Altar. maybe if they abandoned the Sky Altar and just went straight up for the Arc, they could do this. But they don't know what we know, which is that they had a clear lane of attack here. Nobody was going to stop them. I mean, it's funny. Like, nobody expects 93 to leave their Arc carrier with literally only 3 marches protecting it. But if they had gone for the carrier, they might have been able to get him, actually.
I mean, this is going very well for 93T.
Yeah. Like, 93 could have got 93'd right here. But it didn't happen, right? Because they didn't know. Oh, man. When they watch this playback, they're going to be like, wait a minute, you mean if we just walk to the north, like the carrier was like completely unguarded? I mean, it's the most unexpected 93 could do, is to just not guard the carrier, right?
Yeah, I mean, but they don't even know that they haven't guarded it, or if they have, because they're so focused on the Sky Altar on the bottom lane, which, I mean, it's contentious right now. It's very heavily getting swarmed by GT, so they could definitely take this back and try and even up these altars, but they've gotten both of their altars back finally here just a moment ago, and it looks like they're going to take this 93T. Well,
reinforcements just getting in.
Yep, just popped right in.
Ooh, another one. Wow. 93T, one thing I will say, Chiskel, is their timing has been so good. Their structure focus has been so good. I see some 60 GT marches stopping, hitting some marches, hitting the open field. When there's only one person with open field, I think 93T just knows where to go and how much pressure to put in. And one thing about the Arc carrier was they had vision in every attack vector that 960 had. As you guys said, they used up all their points in this mid fight. They were fighting around the desert altar, so they had vision there. They had a sentry in the mid, and they also had a sentry near the pyramids in the bottom here, in between the desert altar and the Shrine of Life. So, and of course they're fighting the Sky Altar. So they had all the attack vectors under control, which made them more confident to put their marches elsewhere.
I mean, I'm just going to say it. 93 is looking dominant in a matchup against GT, and that is insane.
They're holding this arc right now on the bottom lane. It looks like they have no rush to capture it, and why not? They just successfully defended that Sky Altar in the bottom lane as well by the skin of their teeth, but did successfully defend it. No point generation disruption there. They're up by almost 4,000 points at this point, with a still increasing points per minute benefit on their side too, by 100 points per minute. And they have a 3,500 point arc in their back pocket. This is looking as strong as you could for either team. Like, if you wanted to be in a good spot, if you were rooting for either team, this is exactly what you would want it to look like. And again, 93T already peeling out, starting to go towards those shrines again, and understanding that there's going to probably be one more arc coming for the rest of this game.
Yeah, I mean, given that they're holding the arc and they've got the building game pretty good, like, this is they've got GT in a headlock right now, and I don't know how you get out of it, quite frankly. I mean, GT would need to dominate buildings and take the next arc. And we're not talking about doing okay in buildings. I mean, they need to do what 93 did and take literally every building, and they haven't done that yet. So, if they can't figure out how to do that in the next couple minutes, they're in big trouble. Like, holding this arc is the headlock. It controls the flow of the game. They control when the mid-fight's going to happen. They know where their marches are going to be when it's going to happen. They have control over the ability points that each team has. I mean, they've really got them right here with both the arc and the point lead. It's unusual for a team to be in this position.
All 4 altars again blue.
I was about to say, Drago, for this Sky Altar, 60 GT finally went on the offensive, fighting for the Shrine of Life, but they just slipped behind the murder ball. Just 2 players with the rally to the Sky Altar, and was able to capture that and trade Shrine of Life for Sky Altar, which is a trade you'll take any day of the week.
And grab it back.
Yeah, and one thing is they're super disciplined, where I was seeing a Honda just chase a 93T march around the map so that they could refresh. The 93T player was running away for their life. It was like as a T1 player, just making sure that they can't refresh and delay the refresh as long as possible. So just the game sense from the players has been really impressive as well.
It's looking very blue again. They still have the arc.
I mean, I'll be honest. I would not have predicted this map position from the way the first 5 minutes of the game went. I mean, I saw the first 5 minutes and I was like, my God, GT is the most coordinated freight train that has ever hit this game. And then 93 has really just turned around and been like, all right, well, choo choo, here we go. Right? They just took over, and they had the train has not stopped going. It's just cruising, man.
It's looking very strong for 93T, and 60GT is going to have to figure something out with less than 20 minutes remaining in this match, being down by 4,000 plus 3,500 from the arc. They're going to have to win another arc, and they're going to have to do what 93T did. Like you said, they're going to have to flip these buildings around with a quickness and start disrupting this point generating machine that 93T has crafted for themselves. We've got 660 to 290 in favor of blue right now. It's just incredible with all these alter switches. It's exactly what 93T is wanting to do. Stop point generation for the red team, and they're also capturing these things too and holding them. Like this Sky Alter on the top lane, they've had this for 4 minutes or so, generating points, just going back down again, but damage is done, right?
We've honestly almost sort of reached the point in the matchup where it's less about, can you win from here? I don't know that they can. It's more now about what can we learn while we're still in this matchup to prepare for the next one, to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to call it early, but this is brutal for GT. I mean, they're losing the points per minute. They don't have the arc. They're down by more than an arc worth of points already before the arc's even been scored. And what I want to call attention to is that when we look at the history of this tournament, what happens? Usually one team wins, but then the other team comes back with big learning and they win. And then in the third round, it's a toss-up. That's usually what happens. Am I misremembering? Is that how you guys remember it as well?
Generally that's the way it is.
Yeah. So at this point in the match, if I'm GT, I'm starting to think about, all right, what are the things I need to do to sort of learn what we should and shouldn't try for the next one? I mean, because I don't know how they come back from this point deficit.
My thought too. So I'm looking at the timer on the arc, right? And 93 is continuing to hold the arc. The structure game has started to even out again, although again damage was done by 93T pretty significantly. The points per minute is equal probably for the first time in the game, at least for the last 20, 30 minutes. So why are they holding it now? You got 16 minutes, almost 17 left in the match, 4 minutes until this arc despawns and no points are generated. To me, the thought behind that is, well, there's still this little skill called Master Strategist, and if you capture it right this second, the arc will pop in 8 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Do the Master Strategist, insta capture it, and you may be able to get it again. So get 2 done. But if you wait past the 16-minute mark, there's no possible way that you can capture it. So I'm curious if they're going to capture it once the timer hits the 16 minutes, or if they're going to wait those full 3 minutes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have the option
always
here.
brings up the Drago strat.
Because it works.
Things I got to, yo.
Because it works. Yeah. I mean, Master Strategist, for those that don't know, teleports you and 29 of your nearest friends to a location of your choosing on the map and grants you a damage boost when you get there, which is extremely powerful. One way is to use it offensively, and another way is to use it to transport, specifically the arc. Now, we've seen 93 try to do this, where they will contest an arc carrier, try to take them down and pick up the arc, and instantly have their brand new arc carrier ported back to their side. But this ability has like a 10 to 15 second warm-up window.
20 seconds.
Is it 20? It's a long time. So it's very hard to actually
be able to count
that right.
Gotta be able to count. It's kind of a thing.
Yeah, it is not easy.
Works on the move.
we look at the scoreboard here, and 93T is still ahead in the points per minute.
Yeah, they just took another altar again. So even with 2 arcs, I'm not sure if it's just going to be enough. It definitely won't be enough if they continue to lose this altar for the rest of this match. 15 minutes remaining. So it looks like it's going to go countdown right towards the end of that arc timer, which there's no harm in it. 93T holding both of their altars and one of the 60GT altars on the bottom lane, about to start generating points for 93T, and we'll see the bump per minute go to 740 to 410 for 60GT. So another 300 points per minute in the blue column, and not looking like it's going to change anytime soon, although 60GT is starting to circle the wagons on that desert altar on the bottom lane.
I mean, this is pretty brutal for GT.
It's impressive.
And very impressive gameplay from 93. So what's different between what these teams are doing? What are the differences we can identify? I mean, I'm sure we could talk about things like timing and quite a bit. But if we look at the marches, let's maybe start there. Is there like a different combination of marches that they're using? Is there some secret? Is it the Liucha Alex?
No.
Is like actually just so insane for them? Like what's the difference here? They both have access to the same tools.
I mean, I don't see a whole lot of commander differences. Maybe a few more Guans on the 93T side that I've seen versus 60GT. But I mean, that's about it. I mean, it's just a matter of, again, positioning your troops correctly in the right places ahead of schedule. And that's what we go back to the very beginning of the match. We saw 93T going to the mid fight. Sorry for smacking my microphone there. So going to the mid fight and being ahead of the game. They were already arriving in the middle when 60GT was still trying to contest their buildings on the outside lane, which not only are they not heading to the middle at that point, but they're at the farthest reaches of the map on the outside lanes to get to the middle. That's an extra 2, 3, 4 minutes to bring your troops back, bring fresh troops to the middle. And again, having that kind of timing is critical in these matches to really have the flow of the match be in your favor. And we've seen, I think, in this match particularly, really seeing the flow of the match, even though they didn't win the first arc, the flow of the match lean towards the blue team 93T because they were where they needed to be before they needed to be there, whereas 60GT has been playing very reactionary, which is not typical of 60GT. Usually they're the ones dictating the flow. So they're doing what they can, but you can see the points right now, almost a 10,000 point match in favor of 93T, and points per minute still in favor of 93T.
Henry Zhuge Liang, the rally here, doing work. There it is. Another altar flips blue.
Yep. They're just going to keep doing that. Like, why wouldn't they?
They sure are. I mean,
it's winning them the game. So let's do that again. What they're saying.
I mean, we have seen a lot of Cav rallies from GT. Is the Archer rally just better?
I think they both have their merits. I mean, getting the rallies to go to a spot quicker, obviously you want to have the Cav versus the Archer, but I think they're both relatively as squishy as each other from a counterattack standpoint.
A good addition to the game, I would say. Nice and punchy. Yeah. Although a little bit swarmable, as we see here. These guys are just like, hey, if you're going to send the rally ahead of all the rest of your troops, we're swarming the rally.
Yep. Both teams have each other's Shrine of Life. So 93T has 60GTs and 60GT has 93Ts. But 93T up 1 altar. And we'll start ticking points for them in a minute. Reflected in the points per minute, 150 points in favor of the blue team, as it has been for the majority of the match. Mid-fight already starting to kick off. I see tons of blue lines coming to the top from 93T. Nothing from 60GT yet. Still scrambling, still trying to get their buildings back. Now all 4 altars are blue.
A 9,000 point advantage for 93. With the buildings, by the way.
Yeah, that's strong. That's just strong.
I mean, it's quite dominant. So if GT gets this last arc, they close the gap in the scoreboard, maybe, if they can get their buildings back.
I don't think there's enough time.
Yeah. I mean,
even if they take all the buildings back. Yeah,
even if they were getting 500 points per minute from buildings, which they aren't.
Extra.
Right. Like, I mean, the only way they could close this gap is with 500 points per minute from buildings and the arc at the same time.
Yeah, and it would still, I think, be a little bit
short
favored to 93T.
Yeah, they'd be short.
And God forbid they did any provisioning.
Provisioning is just, it's the real question mark. It always has been, man.
I saw one provisioner for 60 GT.
This entire time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's tier 5 siege. You don't usually
tier
see
5
those.
siege going to level 1 caravans and passing level 3 caravans. Wonder if there's something to that. I don't know.
Wow.
One note I'll say about 93T, and I think this is what we echoed in the beginning of the game, was they excel at trades. They excel at, this is a game of trades with both teams having the same accounts, having the same resources. It's about timings, it's about tempo, it's about trades. And they just are at the right place at the right time, having the exact amount of people. I will say, I've seen a lot of 93T structures where it's just they barely hold it by a fraction. They hold it by such a small margin, but that just shows that, for example, there's a rally going to this Sky Altar. They're not going to overextend. They're not going to send too many people and kind of respond to where there's too much pressure, too much resources allocated. They put the right amount of resources at the right spots, and if they're overwhelmed, then they just trade structures, which they have been doing with the Sky Altar and the Shrine of Life whenever that's been taken.
Yeah. Everything's roughly evened up right now. One outpost is blue that should be red, but points per minute tell a different tale. 510 for 93T versus only 150 for 60 GT. This is probably going to be one of their lowest scoring matches that they've ever had, 60 GT, especially if they don't get this next arc, which is going to kick off here in about, 2 minutes or so?
Very
soon. Over 2 minutes. Yeah.
You guys let me know when I should look in the mid fight.
I mean, they're already starting to stare each other around the altar.
I've got my eyes on this Sky Altar at the moment. We'll see if 93 can do that exact defense we've been talking about. The Justinian Nevsky rally doing work.
As far as the middle goes, I mean, 93T looks a little more piled than does 60 GT, a little bit more early on the arrival, and organization's a little ahead of schedule, which is, if we're looking at the rest of this match, pretty par for the course.
Oh, they're swarming the rally here in the Sky Altar. And like the troops are just trickling down here, so they should have enough reinforcements to hold this. Yeah. Rained up yet again in the Sky Altar.
Sentry goes down.
I've been seeing a lot of Jan Heraclius from 93T. That's one thing I will say. I saw some Zenobia from 960 and 60 GT.
It's a swirl going on around the temple right now. Okay, 60 GT is pressuring in. They're already coming in. Fight's about to kick off here momentarily. There's going to likely be some to the deaths used here. I don't think there's a need to save points for Master Strategists, so
there you go.
See Total Vision and to the death likely.
Total Vision. Everybody just saving points. Total Vision. Okay.
Wow. Wait, they're both stalling. I think they're waiting for a response here. If one pops to the death, I'm sure the other one would. But they're both holding their points.
Do it. No, you do it.
I mean, are they just kind of withholding points? They can Master Strategist the arc home?
I think they both have the points to do it.
They do.
K1960 winning this mid fight, it looks like. The sad faces.
Yeah,
93
very red.
Look at this. 8 people from 93 grabbing the arc.
They half their Murderval grabbing the arc over here. Let's see. Are they going to do it? Wait, is this a Drago strat? Oh, wait, it's not moving.
Oh, they could have. They could have.
They could have. Yeah, they could have master strategist that home. 100%.
They could have done it.
I mean, the timing would have been really difficult.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, like, just imagine you have ported out all your arc marches. So, I mean, like, the upside if you win is pretty cool. The downside if you lose is like, bro.
Okay, you just lost it.
Did we really need to do that? Or
all right, here they go. They're moving.
They're probably better off master strategisting 30 people on top of the carrier, whoever it is, than
that's true.
trying to sneak it away. But can you imagine if they had done that? What a nail in the coffin that would have been.
Maybe they're saving it for next game.
Maybe.
It's not quite how it works.
They're saving the strat for next game.
You got to use them or you lose them.
11,000
clear
point
right
game
now in the middle.
In favor of 93.
Yeah.
GT has the arc, however, and they've won the mid fight. So what happens now? Well, I think these lines tell the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything's going towards the middle.
93 is still dead set on that arc carrier. And there's GT Master Strategist.
Oh, they're doing it.
Gonna walk into the whirlpool, baby.
Doing
the water's fine.
Wait, the arc carrier's so low, though.
The arc carrier goes down.
The arc carrier is so low.
Okay, Are they going to get the carrier?
This could be.
Are they going to get the carrier?
30, 27, 25. Oh,
bingo.
Out.
They are out.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Wow.
We're out of here.
16K left on that arc carrier.
Yep. There he goes. Arc capture. There you go.
Wow.
So, not to point out the obvious, gentlemen, but is that just over 5,000 point delta that I see there?
It sure is, Drago. It sure is.
Drago wins. The price is right here.
I mean, I feel like I've won nothing because I'm getting nothing, but it's good to win. The victory is a good thing. A good job to both teams. This was fun.
This is a really good match.
Moments, but also some really strong gameplay. And that's what we said at the very beginning, right? We said that we just anticipate this match to be a heavyweight fight, and that's exactly what we just saw. Both teams really just plugging away at each other, and 2 arc captures for 60 GT, but unfortunately that structure game of 93T, if you're a 60 GT fan, you did not like seeing that because they dominated that structure game. The points are going to be enormous.
They did.
On the summary.
They did. I mean, 93T, the T stands for terrifying, actually, because they can beat you in the arc, they can beat you in your structure game, and after you take the arc, they'll just take it from you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The triple threat.
Yeah, you have to play so flexible against 93T. That's one thing I found out is they just make you make decisions. And that split second, in those couple of seconds where you're like, should I do this? Should I do that? They are already executing on their strategy, which is why 60 GT has been so reactive throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, map's looking pretty even. We got a minute left in this matchup. So I guess some predictions for next week, right? Because we're going to be doing this same time next week. Going to be joining all 3 of us here on the stream, and we'll be casting another match between these 2 teams who, I mean, look like they both obviously deserve to win the grand finals, but 93T looking a little bit better this week. What do we think is going to happen next week? Do you think 60 GT is going to come back and even it up, or do we think 93T is going to walk away champions of the grand finals next week?
I think it's very likely that GT comes back with some adjustments that give them a pretty big bump up. But I will point out that they are in KVK right now, battling 24/7. Mm-hmm. So, like, do they actually have the time necessary to do the kind of work it's going to take to get the win next week? I bet they'll commit it, but it's a lot. And The ball's really in their court at this point. They've got to make a change. I don't even know what they changed, guys. I'm going to be honest.
What about you, Plato?
It's so tough to really see what to change, but I think 60GT will definitely come back swinging. They have a lot of footage that they can look over, and they do have a very, very dedicated ARC team. So, yeah, we'll have to see. It's way easier to learn from a loss than a win. So hopefully they can take what they learned from here and, swing back next game.
Cabo, the MVP of the game, originally from the same kingdom as me. Let's go. 10-5-1 back in the day.
Kills.
Look at that board.
Look at the kills.
GT's really not used to that, let me tell you.
That is impressive. Kills and occupation.
It's the opposite. I thought Provision would go to 93T, and then kills would go to 60GT.
You got to think, too, with the fog of war, like, it's not like you can just see all the caravans, you know?
No.
Like, you have to really kind of root around for them. A lot of
really made it, I think, less advantageous to caravan, which I think is not a bad thing. But then also the lack of gathering gear just makes it, I think, a pretty easy choice to focus on your field. Yeah. I do think 1,000 points is not a bad amount of points, though. The question is, how many marches did they commit to get it? And probably not that many. Well, all in all, a really exciting game, gentlemen. And the scoreboard really tells the tale here. 93 with an incredible 31,369 occupation points and an arc on top. They get the win. In fact, if they hadn't gotten that arc and it had flipped to the other side, would GT have
maybe
won?
Been even? Been right at the...
real close, right?
Yeah.
So the one arc they got where their carrier was unguarded and they just walked that damn thing home, that was big for them.
Big.
If you enjoyed the stream, throw a like on here and consider subscribing. Drago, Plato, and I also have our own channels. You can check out linked in the description, but we'll be back here on the official Rise of Kingdoms channel next week to cast round 2 of Ark of Osiris League Grand Finals. Big shout out to both 93T and 60GT for incredible next level gameplay. These are the best teams in the game. So a shout out to them both for such an entertaining match to watch, spectate, and bet on. And we'll be back next week for more Ark of Osiris League. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. We'll see you there.